Are we slowly witnessing his mystery being unveiled? We'll find out right now. Hi everyone, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's start with this. It costs you nothing and it helps us a lot. Go ahead, please. Done? Thank you. Ukraine has struck again, my friends. Many believed that after what happened with the aircraft, they would be trembling at home, waiting for Vladimir Putin's much-anticipated retaliation. But apparently, that's not what's happening. Ukraine has hit again, and in a very strategic location. Are we witnessing an outcome completely different from what was expected? Why are they not afraid? Are they more powerful than we think? Or do they perhaps know Putin's weak spots? Ukraine launched another attack on the Crimean bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge, on Tuesday, June 3, 2025. Probably wondering, where is that? Look at this map. Here's Crimea. It's a 19-kilometers bridge connecting the Crimean Peninsula to mainland Russia, built after the 2014 annexation. Before 2014, Crimea fully belonged to Ukraine, but after the US-backed coup against the Ukrainian president, Russia decided to fully annex Crimea. This bridge became a symbol of that annexation and a vital logistical route for Russian troops in southern Ukraine. It's already been attacked several times. In 2022, again in 2023, Ukraine has been trying to cut off Russian supply routes, reporting, according to Ukrainian security services, the latest attack used over a ton of underwater explosives, causing major infrastructure damage. It was called a special, carefully planned operation by Zelensky. The Kremlin released footage, claiming there was no serious damage and the bridge remained operational. So we have to ask ourselves, many people expected Russia to retaliate after the airbase attacks. But that hasn't happened. Yet, observational. And people also assumed Ukraine would hide for a while. Rumors even claimed Zelensky had fled. Rhetorical. Would someone who is scared strike once and then strike again? I don't think so. Analytical. This attack is part of a larger series of Ukrainian operations to disrupt Russian supply lines and weaken Moscow's logistics. Ukrainian intel chief Vasyl Maluk said the bridge strikes had crippled Russian naval operations, forcing them to rely on ferries to move weapons. Explaining, Ukraine views these strikes as a form of strategic self-defense, a message that it can hit deep into Russian-held territory. Analytical, Ukraine no longer compares itself to Russia power for power. Conclusive, this has become a tactical war.
Should Putin react?
Most of his supporters are disappointed at his silence. Meanwhile, both Russians and Ukrainians are still in Turkey negotiating a ceasefire. But Russia has conditions, 4 of them, to agree to a ceasefire. 1. Russia wants the ceasefire based on current military positions, especially in Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. They now consider those territories part of Russia. 2. Ukraine must remain neutral and never join NATO. 3. No foreign troops in Ukraine plus Western sanctions must be lifted. 4. A robust verification mechanism for the ceasefire. So, will Ukraine react again? Putin hasn't said anything yet, but former President Medvedev did. He said, "Everything that must be blown up will be blown up." He added that Russia aims for total victory and the destruction of Ukraine, rejecting any compromise. He called the Ukrainian government a neo-Nazi regime, demanding that Zelensky step down, that Ukraine lose more territory, and that new elections be held. Donald Trump reacted on social media, saying that Putin told him over the phone he would respond very firmly to the Ukrainian drone attacks. But Trump didn't criticize Putin. He said it was a very good conversation. However, not one that leads to peace, at least not yet. So here's the question. Why hasn't Putin struck back yet? Isn't it strange how we've crossed red line after red line and still no retaliation? Who would have thought we'd live to see Russian bombers get blown up like this? Even the US wouldn't dare. But now, Ukraine does it. Shouldn't there be a response at some point? Let me know what you think in the comments. It's always a pleasure. God bless.